You've been out everywhere at the moment. There's deals being done, of course, with SoftBank and OpenAI that we'll dig into. But what about this forecast and what it signals for your business? Is it just you being conservative as a newly public company?
Thanks, Caroline, and appreciate you having me on this morning. Yeah, I don't know if I agree with the dialogue muted forecast. We beat our projections for Q3, and we actually raised guidance for Q4 and for the year. And we're looking at about $4 billion of annual revenue, which is about 25% increase over the last year. So we're super happy with the trajectory of the business and super happy with the performance.
Maybe just investors are too exuberant. They're too exuberant around the fact that you've already said your compute platform is going to help OpenAI and SoftBank make good on their advanced enterprise AI, the optimism around your AI future, as well as how integral you are to smartphones. So is it that? Are people too excited about the AI opportunity here?
You know, I'm going to try to decouple what the market is saying about our results and just talk about the results in general, of which we are, again, incredibly pleased by. We are seeing extremely strong demand for our products across the board. We had record royalties. We were up 23% year on year. Our version 9 compute subsystems, which drive higher royalty rates, we're just growing faster than the market, which is what we told investors when we went public back in Analyst Day a year and a half ago plus. So, yeah, we're not seeing any slowdown in demand, quite frankly, Caroline. In fact, we're seeing an acceleration in it, particularly driven by all things around artificial intelligence.
Rene, speaking of future growth, one of the things that ARM is also banking on is its high-profile partnership in Stargate, and you're a big player in that. Could you kind of tell us what investors can expect this year to gain from that venture?
I can say, broadly speaking, the way to think about Stargate is it's an infrastructure project unlike any other. $500 billion, $100 billion was spent initially. And these are to build out the world's largest AI data centers for training and inference. We are the key technology partner around CPU. We're the only CPU technology partner that was named, which is terrific, obviously, for us. One can imagine going forward a lot of opportunity for technology innovation there. But in the near term, we'll be linked with the Grace Blackwell chip using the Grace CPU, which is ARM-based, and the Blackwell GPU, which is NVIDIA-based. But these large frontier models are going to require, Jackie, a huge amount of power for training and inference. And we're just so excited about being involved in this. It's going to be fantastic.
Well, at the same time, this project also kind of puts you in the middle of this U.S.-China tech rivalry. You're at the front lines of it, being the top supplier to American AI companies. And I'm curious if you think that perhaps tying your fortunes so closely to OpenAI is a risk.
I'm not sure I think about it quite that way. OpenAI is a fantastic partner. Arguably, they're the leader at the moment in terms of adoption of ChatGPT and their APIs and their enterprise suite. We work with everyone, though. We work very closely with Google. We work closely with Meta, AWS, all the partners. But we're very thrilled to be involved with OpenAI. They have phenomenal technology.
Rene, we're going to lean into that China-US story. DeepSeek, extraordinary, the push and pull it has in the narratives. Can you explain as to whether you think we are going to need as much compute as we all foresaw before?
Oh, I think unquestionably, Caroline. And in fact, I think even more than we probably have been thought about. So why is that? Well, if you look at what DeepSeek has done, which is an amazing, by the way, piece of work, they've done what's called distillation. And distillation is building on top of an existing frontier model, which takes lots of power and lots of compute to generate. If you think about GPT-4, which was hundreds of megawatts, GPT-5, 6, 7, these are in the gigawatts. So even though you may have models that can distill or build upon the frontier models still need a lot of power. And then with that drives a huge demand for inference, which is really where the larger use loads are. And more efficient inference means you can drive AI to much smaller devices, to smartphones, earbuds, devices that don't have a lot of capability for power. It's great for ARM because that's where we are today. It's where we exist. And now you can run those AI workloads on the CPU. So I think actually that what DeepSeek proves is that we're just going to see an even more accelerant towards compute.
Well, on that front, you have a significant business in China. Are you concerned at all about perhaps how the slowing smartphone business might affect ARM's future growth?
Yeah, it's a great question. And, again, what we've seen in smartphones, which are at single digits type of growth, we're in the double digits growth in terms of royalties, in some cases 20% growth. And why is that? We're putting more technology into these phones. Our version 9, our compute subsystems drive higher royalty rates. So we're just growing faster than the market, and particularly in the premium segment, which requires more and more compute. So while the units have been slowed in some areas, it actually hasn't impacted us very much. Just look at our record royalties. To have this kind of number in a market where people think things are slowing down, just phenomenal.
Record royalties, upside in licensing. I would just want to get to the litigation, if I may, Rene, and briefly. Perhaps it hasn't gone the way that you thought with Qualcomm. What does it mean for the future earnings?
Really, there's no impact on future earnings, Caroline. The trial was a mistrial on one of the verdicts, so the dispute is still open. But to your question in terms of future forecast, yeah, no impact whatsoever.